Hi, and welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Yugs.
And I'm Matt.
Tonight, we'll be talking about...
Why was that so hard?
Because I wasn't sure what I was going to say. I still don't know what I'm going to say.
It's all a great mystery. We're going to be talking about the year, basically.
Because this
2006, the year that was.
This is the last podcast of the year.
Indeed.
So we thought it would be appropriate to, a year in review.
Yes.
Look at the things that have happened this year. And frankly, because... we just couldn't really find that much else to talk about.
Actually, I got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but it's not especially topical. It's just interesting stuff. I'll post it on the front of the website.
Such as what?
Such as a guy who has managed to make an interface to control his home system, like his whole house, his lights and stuff, with the Wii.
With the Wii?
With the Wii, which I think is pretty cool. So it's like waving at the lights.
I was about to say, now there's the question. Is it they uses it like a remote control where he pushes the buttons, or does he literally have to like spin the Wii in a circle to turn the lights on, and then do like a triangle to turn the TV on?
I'm going to pretend it's the latter.
Because that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Very black and white style.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about the gestures in black and white. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so let's get cranking.
Yeah, cranking.
So,
I haven't actually seen you for a while, man.
No, it's been great.
It has been.
It's
been really good. I've actually been off for a while. Oh, merry couple of days after Christmas, everyone.
Yeah,
by the way.
merry non-Christmas.
Hope Santa bought everyone better presents than he bought me.
He pooed on my bed.
Did he?
Yes.
Is that his lump of coal that he left on your bed?
I wasn't good enough for coal.
Doesn't it solidify sort of thing if you leave it there? And
yeah, but it's still not coal.
Okay.
It's still poo.
Very close. You can pretend it's coal.
I could.
You could.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. Hope everyone had a good Christianmas, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. Jesus is the reason for the season. After all, it's certainly not just about presents.
Not about presents and just boozing it up with family members
Absolutely
that you haven't
not.
seen since last Christmas.
No, nothing at all about that.
But that's sort of
a religious festival.
That's sort of what a lot of mine was. But it was good. It was nice to see family that I haven't seen since last Christmas.
I saw my sisters the 2 days before Christmas, and that's all I did for Christmas.
Yep.
I actually spent the Christmas weekend programming.
Really?
Yeah.
You know,
there is so much tragedy there. I can't even begin.
Here's you. You're right here.
Yeah.
Now here's you as a geek, right? You've just
that means nothing to any of the people listening to this.
No. I have my hand.
At about eye height.
Yep. About eye height. Then I'm dropping it down to about waist height, and that's where you've gone after that one comment.
What, down to penis level?
Yes.
So I've gone down.
Down to geekdom penis level. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Anyway, what I was actually just quickly going to say was I spent Christmas with the family, did all the presents and stuff, and the younger siblings got some fantastic presents, and I actually gave my three sisters Zelda, Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
And I was going to buy them a Wii. Until I realised that I'd rather buy myself one first before I buy them one. And then I realised I don't have enough to buy either of us a Wii at the moment. So I bought them Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
Yes.
I don't think there's really been anyone out there that's really bought Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
It's funny. I remember reading someone a while ago, I think on our forums, asking about how's the GameCube version and getting just tumbleweeds and echoing.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, anyone that has gone to the is a Nintendo fanboyish enough to actually own a GameCube, by now probably has a Wii.
Yeah, possibly, but there are still always going to be a lot of people that don't.
Anyway, I mean, Oracle's doing a review of Twilight Princess, which should be up eventually.
When we get around to it.
When we get around to it. And, I mean, that'll be good to read. I'll be interested to read that. But my impressions of the GameCube version, which as far as I'm aware, are the same as the Wii version without all the motion-y, control-y goodness.
More or less.
Yeah. It's great. It looks very impressive. But, my God, I felt like I was just playing Ocarina of Time all over again. Did you ever play that on the Nintendo 64? There's literally like... Oh, okay, I've got to go up to Death Mountain, and the Gorons they're angry, and there's something in the mountain that's, making them all weird, and so I have to go kill that, and, okay, Zora's palace is frozen over. Like, the exact same characters, the exact same things I had to do. It was like on repeat.
Right.
The whole Twilight Zone thing.
So it's a port, basically.
A lot of it felt that way. Playing the original Ocarina of Time was fantastic. It was awesome. It was exciting. It was epic. It was this. It feels like playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I know it's cool.
It's
it looks
a bit of
fantastic.
A different game.
No.
I know.
As in going from
it's a comparison.
Going from Vice City or Grand Theft Auto 3 to San Andreas was very. I know it's bigger. I know it's better. I know it looks fantastic, but it still feels like I'm playing the same goddamn game. I
still feel like I've been here before.
Yeah. I feel like I'm wasting my time a little bit.
I think that's interesting because I actually kind of had a bit of a fear with the Wii, particularly that a lot of the games when divorced from their isn't the controller shiny thing.
The gimmick? No, it's not a gimmick. It is.
Well, no. I mean, it's a new way of playing games, and that's
exactly.
cool. But when taken away from that, how good are they as games beneath the surface?
We don't have a Wii yet, between myself and Matt.
No, we do not.
It seems every one of our reviewers does, though, which is great for them. I'm so extremely happy for them.
Yeah, lucky them, you bastards.
Yep.
It's actually interesting with the Wii that at my work, more people, I think, have a Wii at my work than have any other console. And by that I include things like the PlayStation 2
they were all
and the Xbox.
They were all completely sold out before Christmas as well. I don't know about other cities, but in Brisbane, because I did have the best of intentions to try and find it a Wii for Christmas, and they were all completely sold out everywhere. JB Hi-Fi, Maya, EB, everywhere.
Yeah, there's a distinct shortage. They're back in stock now. They are available. I think they came in just after Christmas or something.
Handy, yeah.
But yeah, so
look, anyway, we should probably talk about what we said we were going to talk about, which was basically just an offhanded subject anyway. But year in review.
Year in review. What do you reckon was the highlight of the year in gaming?
In gaming, well, I mean, probably the launch of the Wii, I would imagine. Actually, probably the unveiling of the Wii back at the beginning of the year, back at E3, actually.
I would
was probably the most exciting bit.
I'd probably say the Wii in general.
Yeah.
That the Wii's been really the highlight, that Nintendo has done so well this year that I would think they would take it for the year. Whether you look at the launch, in Australia, the launch
everywhere
worldwide,
Sure, yeah. No, I do agree with you. I think the Wii has been the standout. Whether it's a surprise to people or they've, it's what they expected all along. Yeah, Nintendo would come through in the end.
Or it's just possibly the potential that's available by having a new way to play games.
Probably.
Or the potential to get a whole new market,
I'd say probably at the other end of the spectrum, if we're going not on games in specific, but the other big surprise for the year to me was actually the complete and utter disappointment in every way of the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was kind of giving gestures to Yugs then. Basically, let's start with the good.
Oh, okay, right.
Let's do what's been good, and we'll talk about what's been
disappointments. Can we do it the good, the
later.
bad, and the ugly?
No, because that's just you.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
You're both bad and ugly.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Indeed.
How was your Christmas? I was programming. Right. Okay. Glad that worked out for you.
Anyway, so I think the Wii's been a real success. I actually think that the Xbox 360 has been quietly successful as well.
I think so as well.
It's not standing out, but it's bringing the best games out now that it's had.
Realistically, I mean, the 360 has had no competition at all.
No,
for
until the very
year.
end of the year.
Even then, I still don't see the Wii as competition to the Xbox 360.
Right.
Never have and never will.
No,
I see the Wii as completely complementary. I mean, even the games that I've played on the Wii, they don't wow me graphically at all in any respect.
It's not like anyone's going to be out there thinking, do I want to play WarioWare Smooth Moves? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, WarioWare, or do I want to play Gears of War? Like, this is not this is not the.
It is. Look, I mean, for the best example, I mean, just compare the cross-platform games or things like that. Need for Speed Carbon is a good example, or
cross platforms are always a really good indication.
Over the holidays as well, I stayed at my uncle's place, and they've got an Xbox there, right? An original Xbox, and I've been playing Tony Hawk Project 8 on the Xbox 360, and I played Tony Hawk Project 8 on the normal Xbox, and graphically, I had a lot of difficulty playing it at all, and the original Xbox is around about the same graphical level as the Wii. Like, there's just...
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Good.
I mean, I stopped playing the PlayStation after a while because I was playing so many
original
PC.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Because I was so used to the PC, and I just thought, this looks hideous. Especially seeing as at the same time we went from having, I think, like a 34 centimeter TV to a 70 centimeter.
But in that same respect, do you kind of wonder... I mean, I know I do. Why then do you think that the whole virtual console side of things is
I know. I think there's
appealing?
a point. I think there's that unfortunate point between old and retro.
Yeah.
Like there's a game that's released now looks good. A game that was old, you can just kind of look at and go, that's retro, but there's that gap in the middle where it just looks really old.
I reckon that gap was right about the time that 3D games first started coming into effect.
Yeah, you're right. You look at games like Tekken now, the original Tekken, and they look dog ugly.
But you look at practically any 2D game on the Super Nintendo or Mega Drive era, and even by today's standards, they look fun, and they look cool, and they still look vibrant and fresh and great fun to play. Because 2D will never... be upgraded, so to speak.
Exactly. And you look at some of the games like Worms, for example, when they were 2D,
right,
and they still look so good because they're so crisp and clear. It was interesting, actually, because the game that really, to me, showed where the PlayStation 1 was sort of starting to fall off was actually Final Fantasy VIII, which is a beloved game, but my God, it looked dodgy.
On the PlayStation?
On the PlayStation, yeah.
See, man, I played that on the PC.
You played it on the PC and it had a higher level of texture. It was the textures that let it down.
It was the textures that let it down on the PC for me. Because it was actually a port from the...
Yeah, but I thought they upgraded it a little bit.
They did. They upgraded the actual characters but left the textures...
okay. That was what was so bad.
So the resolution went up
but
twice as much, but the textures stayed the same. It was like, I'd rather the blurry textures.
But it was interesting because Final Fantasy VII worked really well because it was quite flat.
Yeah, that's true.
It was quite cartoony. Final Fantasy VIII didn't, I didn't think, because they tried to get too much detail and they didn't have it. But Final Fantasy IX, they went back to 2D and it looked really good.
Never played 9.
No, a lot of people skipped 9, I think.
It was about the time the PS2 came out, I think.
I think it was. It was kind of, it was...
Final Fantasy X was on the horizon and Final Fantasy IX looked a bit too childish.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a really good game.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Anyway, some other highlights of the year. For us, I mean, everyone's going to have their highlights of the year. And I think, I mean, go to any other site, GameSpot or stuff like that, they're going to have the listing of the best games of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
For us... What was your highlight of the year?
You mean in games?
Yeah, in games.
I think probably Gears
in your personal life.
Oh God, that wouldn't... I don't think there is one. I think probably Gears of War would be, to me, the game that impressed me the most.
Because that's interesting, man, because at the beginning of the year, when we were watching those E3 videos...
I know, they didn't impress me,
you
but I
weren't
really...
impressed at all.
No, I wasn't. It's a bit like Dead Rising in that respect, in that we saw videos of it that actually made it look kind of dodgy. Sometimes a bad video can do some damage.
Yep, no, true.
But yeah, no, it has impressed me, and I certainly, to me, that or just the experience of the Wii itself.
All right, yep.
Which is a bit vague, but you know.
No, it's fair enough. I think.
I'll be honest though, that nothing has really stood out for me that much this year. I'm not that impressed by a lot of stuff this year. And in fairness, I haven't been able to play that much stuff this year. I haven't had a 360, so I've missed out on a lot of games.
You've been able to watch me play things.
Yeah, and some of the things I've watched you play look all right. But when you watch someone play a game, you can look and go, that looks awesome.
Yep.
But it doesn't necessarily...
Different to actually playing it, yeah.
Yeah, Dead Rising is a good example. A lot of people said that was an awesome game for 20 minutes.
See, Dead Rising was actually one of the highlights of my year in terms of gaming, and that's a kind of a semi-controversial thing to say because I know that most of the people, most of the reviews, I know Oracle and AJ especially, were kind of disappointed in the game. They thought it was lost its appeal rather quickly, and which I can see that, I can understand that, and it did, but it was the first game I think ever. Or since Ghost Recon, actually, that I've played on the 360, that actually made me go, wow, this is really exciting. This is exciting and fantastic. I think, for me, it went Ghost Recon, the first bit when you're in the helicopter and you're flying over the entire village, or the entire city, the desert city, and you're looking outside of the helicopter and you land, and then you get out and you start walking around in that city. Then that was the first one. Then nothing until the Lost Planet demo.
Yeah,
which
the Lost...
to me...
if it wasn't for the fact that Lost Planet doesn't come out until early next year, I'd put that as a real highlight as well.
No, fair enough. Well, the Lost Planet demo impressed me no end. And
same.
Then Dead Rising was the next one that impressed me. And then Gears of War, which is just incredible. I think everyone can agree. And, yeah, I mean, you know, I guess the other thing that's happened this year, I mean, significantly for us anyway, has been the video game expos that have started up.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's actually some expos happening, some possibility. And I have to say, just pretty much unreservedly, that eGames is the where it's happening there.
Yeah, look, eGames was the most impressive. Actually, I'm putting a write-up of that. AJ's write-up of that this weekend. There's Go 3 next year, which should be interesting. But yeah, the game expos were a lot of fun. They were great to go to. And yeah, got nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, what I did want to say though is, you know, those are our opinions of what we enjoyed this year. There's a few other games that people are probably going to have their own opinions on, like Oblivion, Final Fantasy.
Good one. Yep.
Final Fantasy
12 on the
12 is
PS3.
that out here?
No,
I don't think it's out here.
No, it's not out. So I don't think many people will have much of an opinion.
Not much of an opinion at all. Gears of War, we've already mentioned. A few other fairly big titles. Zelda, of course.
What about Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six and on the 360?
For example.
Vegas. Oh, for example.
Yeah, I'm just saying that other people will have their highlights.
Sure.
Loco Roco, you know.
Actually, yeah, good point.
What did you guys think? Say on the forums.
Oh, we'll make a thread about that. Yeah, that sounds good.
So what are the downsides? What disappointed? What broke our little hearts?
PlayStation 3.
Sony. I'm gonna broaden that and say Sony purely because the PSP has been just as bad as the PlayStation 3, with the exception that they actually released it.
That's actually something that they've inflicted on you personally rather heavily.
Yeah, so that
because you actually invested quite a lot of
money
and time and also like just expectations in the PSP.
Yeah, and money.
You know, okay, money. Okay, I get the money bit.
It's not a cheap console, you know.
No.
And the thing that bothers me the most about the PSP in particular is that it has so much potential in terms of its hardware that they're just not using. Yep.
And they probably never will.
No, they probably never will. And I was actually reading a really interesting article about Sony. I might in Wired, and I might actually post it on the front of the site. Basically talking about how they handle software. And that they actually, because they're a hardware company, they actually don't know anything about software. And they actually consider software irrelevant. So they tack it on. Right. And apparently they've always done that. Like every product from the NetMD that they had, the iPod killer that failed miserably.
Whereas Microsoft, in comparison to the 360,
company.
Is the other way around.
Exactly. And it's their software and their networking and so on that's made the Xbox 360 and the original Xbox so successful. Sure. Sony, by comparison, I mean, think about the interface for the PlayStation 2. That stupid, dodgy browser software thing.
You never really had to use it, really.
You never really did. But more and more with their products, you do have to, and they're still tacked on, and they're still half-assed.
Mainly because they have to catch up to everyone else.
Yeah, but they're still half-assed bits of software, and they really need to do better at that aspect of things.
Yeah, look, I think... I mean, I like to think I'm in a nice position where both of us to that point. We're not fanboys of any particular console. I have my preferences, but you know, last year I preferred the GameCube over the Xbox. You know, or the PlayStation 2 for some things over the Xbox, and now I prefer the 360 over. Like,
I think
I basically go with whatever one has the games that I like. I'm not...
Which is how it should be.
It should be, but I mean, like, a lot of people are very... No, I like Sony because I like Sony. I like Nintendo because they're Nintendo, right? Yeah. And having the luxury to be able to own the majority of consoles at the same time is like... gives me the ability to go, I actually really want Sony to do well. I actually really want Sony to live up to even the smallest expectations that I've got, and the biggest disappointment is that they haven't.
My main problem with Sony has been their colossal arrogance.
Yeah.
My favourite quote of the year is Ken Kutaragi, I think? Kutaragi? Can't remember which one.
Go on.
Who said, I think at the start of E3 or at the start of the press release before E3 this year, the next generation begins when we say it does. That's a direct quote. Now, points for balls, but seriously, 1 billion points for just being a bastard. Like,
yeah.
You know what? The next generation begins when we say it does. And I don't mean Australian Gamer, we're not the official. But the gamers, the players, when we start buying the games, you know, we're the ones. And you know what? You look at Lost Planet, you look at Gears of War, you look at...
frankly, for me, it was like, you know, going from literally, you know, with the PlayStation 3 that we're not looking at videos. We actually did get it, play it, have it, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Resistance Fall of Man compared to Gears of... playing Resistance Fall of Man, and then, that's interesting. And then playing Gears of War, it's like, wow, there is no comparison there. Gears of War absolutely topples it in every respect.
Even if you prefer Resistance, even if you played it all the way through and really liked it and didn't... You still couldn't say it's a higher generation. You know? You still couldn't say Gears of War was old and crappy by comparison.
It was a previous generation, and Resistance is the new generation. They do seem a bit arrogant, but Sony, to me, always have. But the difference is that everyone has a PlayStation. Everyone had a PlayStation. They backed that up, and they backed it up with good games and good hardware and good software. Good games.
The other thing that's really starting to hurt Sony is their exclusives are becoming less and less exclusive. I mean, we don't know for sure about Metal Gear Solid 3, but there's rumours surfacing that
Metal Gear Solid 4,
4, there's rumours surfacing now that which has been kind of the really big deal, is looking more and more Xbox 360-ish.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's their big one as well.
Yeah, that's a big one for them. That's going to hurt Sony. We do want to see Sony do well. Don't get us wrong. We're not anti-Sony. Oh no, actually, well, I am. I'm sick of their crap.
Yeah, you're allowed to be. You're anti-PSP at the moment.
I'm anti-PSP and I'm anti-PS3. I just think it's an.
But the difference is you're anti-PSP, but you own a PSP.
I do.
That's the difference. You know I'm
anti-PSP
important.
for a couple of reasons. One, they've done some really dumb things.
Sure.
And secondly, there's not that many good games.
Yep.
Really, there. And the UMD format is stupid.
Yep, fair enough.
It's good for games, but it's crap for movies.
Yep, fair enough. Any other disappointments of the year? Standout disappointments?
The closure of Clover Studios for their failure to make a successful game, despite the fact that it was incredibly brilliant.
Financially successful games.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really short-sighted on behalf of Capcom.
Well, I mean,
I think that
end of the day, these big publishers are businesses.
They are, but I often wonder, and I think I said this in a comment once before, how many of these games or how many of these studios their next title would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
And popular.
Yep. All it takes is one that's innovative and
pushes them into the limelight, so people see, wow, this is by the
company.
People that made Okami.
Yeah,
it should be good.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But they don't get that chance.
No, I wonder. You can't wonder if those games were just marketed a bit better, sort of thing, or differently.
I do often wonder that actually.
Because I mean, realistically,
it's like TV shows. Like, how many of them are unsuccessful because they're just put on late at night and
I mean, if you think about all the big games from like EA or Ubisoft and things like that, I mean they're all actually these days they're actually all pretty good, but they are marketed so heavily. Everyone knows about them.
Gears of War. And it's on buses everywhere.
It is. God, everywhere. Yeah, it is absolutely everywhere.
No, yeah, it's a great game, so we have no problem with them promoting
because
it.
Because
if Okami was put on buses everywhere, would that have sold better?
But it is a marketer's nightmare. I mean, even now, even after reading about, I still have no idea how the game really works.
What, Okami?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you couldn't sell it in the same way, but maybe you could sell it
But
on a more
you couldn't
artistic
sell it,
level.
but
Or
in that respect, it's not as easily accessible either.
yeah, true.
You know, Gears of War is pick it up. It's a
You shoot
FPS.
people.
It's a third-person game.
Shoot in face.
You're used to it. Everyone knows it, and you know what? Most people are going to like it because they know what it's about. They're used to it. Okami would probably be a fairly love-or-hate game, I'd imagine. There'd be a lot of people out there.
But everyone loves it. Like every review I've seen is very positive. What I'd love to see, and I heard a rumor about this, but it got squashed, is a Wii version
of Okami.
Of Okami where you could actually draw and stuff. Cause,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen now.
No, because it's dead. But yeah, I find that disappointing. I actually think the year in general has been a bit disappointing in terms of innovation and so on, where a lot of innovation has been really stifled. But the Wii makes up for it.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of potential.
I'd probably say on the whole, I mean, the entire year, I think you've generally been a disappointment just in general. I think, yeah, that's it. You've just been, generally disappointing.
Speaking of general disappointments, another disappointment has been quite a few significant delays to games that were intended to come out.
Or hardware, PS3 for example.
Yeah, that's a good example. But also the Burning Crusade
and the Wii actually. The Wii was delayed.
The Burning Crusade expansion was originally going to be November and was pushed to early to mid-January.
Yeah. That doesn't really surprise me. Blizzard aren't exactly known for... I don't think Blizzard have ever released a game when they say they'll release it.
No, actually, that's not true. They always release them when they say they're going to, but they never say when they're going to. There's always speculation and rumour. And that kind of seems to solidify, but...
I kind of thought they've always had a reputation for never releasing a game when they say they will, because they're such the company a perfectionist sort of thing. Like they always want to get absolutely right before they release it, and because they've pretty much never had a game that hasn't been both a critical and commercial success, they can afford to do that.
Yeah, they've done reasonably
I mean, you
well.
look at StarCraft Ghost. I mean,
which they just cancelled entirely.
They basically just cancelled because they just weren't happy with it. They were like, no, you know what, it's just, no, not happy.
Yeah, whereas if that had been EA, they would have just polished it.
They would have just polished it, shipped it out, and you would have had like a whole bunch of different tracks to select while you were playing it. EA tracks playing StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been exactly what happened, and there would have been Coke promos all through it.
And Pepsi. Oh no, or Pepsi. Coke or Pepsi.
One of the two. Probably Nike, actually. They like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Nvidia, actually. Or would it be a graphics company, maybe. They tend to they tend to whore themselves out pretty heavily.
They do, especially at the start of the game with this is the way it's meant to be played.
Nvidia or AT. Well, that's not on the 360 or the PS. That's only on the PC.
Yeah. I'm talking about the PC.
Okay, right. Yeah. So year in review. Any ugly?
No, I think just you.
Just me.
I'm just gonna go with you.
Just I guess just to be purely selfish, yeah. Some of the things for us, we've had Australian gamers had absolutely huge year. We've
had some ugly though too.
We have had some ugly server issues have been. Absolutely, we've moved the site 3 times, which if you're not in IT, if you don't know the relevance of that, it is extremely significant and difficult to move a website over to a different server, and it's certainly caused a lot of headaches for us.
The main problem has not been the moving, it's been the decision to move in the first place, because like one of the hosts we were on, the site would keep going down, and we would say, why is our site down? And they'd go, oh, well, it's just,
it's the middle of the day, it's peak times.
At peak times it gets overloaded, so the site shuts down.
And for us, it's like...
We're not okay with that.
We pay you. The only thing you've got to do is keep our website up. Can't you do that? And apparently not, so... And
there was another one that when our podcast became more popular, the bandwidth went up, and our host just turned the site off.
Yeah.
To which we replied...
It's like, we're getting more people looking at the site, and they're turning it off.
Yeah, so we had a chat with the hosts and basically said, do not under any circumstances turn our site off for any reason, ever.
But they did.
But
yeah, look, things like that's been some definite ugly. Highlights, the video game expos were fantastic for us. They were a lot of fun to go to. It was great to meet up with AJ.
Yeah, it was.
Personally, and hang out with him. It was great to actually see Oracle again down in Sydney. It was great to meet
I've been thinking
some of the local Australian gamer readers as well.
I've been thinking about visiting Oracle when we visited Oracle.
Yeah.
Did you ever go somewhere and you stay with people who've got like a really big dog, and it's nice and it's friendly and stuff, but it just like eventually it just gets annoying and you want someone to put it outside just so you can get a break? That's what it's like staying with Oracle. He's like a big dog. He's like one of those big.
That's charming. That's beautiful.
Hey, Oracle.
Thanks. Good work on solidifying your friendship with Oracle there, Matt.
Yeah.
But
Belle's lovely.
And yeah, I guess the new people that are on board right at the end of the year.
That's a big deal for us.
That's a big deal for us, and it was annoying drawing the cartoons, but yeah, it's a big deal for us.
It increases the size of the site. It increases what we can offer. We've been a little bit quiet for anyone who's been kind of following. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been quiet, but in the start of the year, we're going to get things moving.
We always say that,
right
but we will. It's basically I've gone away. It's been holidays, for God's sake. It's Christmas.
It's been holidays.
And I was, what Santa brought me for Christmas?
What?
Hangover.
Ah.
Yeah.
I bet, and because you deserved it.
Oh, yes, I did. I'd been a naughty boy. But yeah. Well, look. Is there anything else in particular year in your review? That you want to?
No, but
focus on, or
anyone who wants to say on the forums and stuff.
Yeah, we'll make the post in the forums. That's fine.
What's happened in your year? What's been your highlight? What's been your low light? What's been a disappointment? What's exceeded your expectation? It is now.
Okay.
What's exceeded your expectations? What expectations you had?
Mm-hmm. What expectations were crushed and smashed and destroyed by the corporations?
I'll give you another quick low light.
Yeah.
The mainstream media coverage of gaming has been just appalling this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, with the whole World of Warcraft, oh my god, addicted people.
Oh yeah, actually Australian non-gaming media.
Australian non-gaming media. The guy from Today Show saying the Wii was $1,200.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's
just the ignorance and stuff is frustrating.
Yeah, and I don't know a solution to that either. Because it's in a similar way, it'd be like us talking about cars or something like that.
Yeah,
do you know what I
mean? We know enough to just shut the hell up.
Well, yeah, but if we're on a TV program, we had to say, oh, well, the latest Holden just came out and it's got these kind of specs or something like that. I don't know how much it is. It's probably about $60,000 or something. $120,000. That's great. Thank you for that contribution. But yeah, it's so I don't quite know what the solution is. We can't exactly educate everyone on games, but they should just shut the hell up. But that should just...
Yeah, I don't know. It's particularly hard with things like Today's Show. The guy isn't
That's right.
Gamer.
Okay, so things like that, fine. But when it's an actual report...
current affair and stuff.
A current affair.
Deliberately
or
biased.
60 Minutes, I think, did a thing on... didn't they do a thing on the kid who was...
No, it was a current affair.
No, there was another one as well, World of Warcraft Addictive Gaming. There was the current affair one where they interviewed the kid and he was playing and the mother was yelling at him to get off and he wouldn't get off and all that kind of stuff. That was the current affair one, right?
None of that happened. But
well, then that was the 60 Minutes one.
I didn't hear any yelling. There was just the one where the woman was whining because she couldn't control her son.
Right. Well, anyway, that. Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a bit of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, look, that kind of thing, and especially, above all, the most disgraceful thing of all is the lack of an R rating for video games in Australia, and the just general lack of interest from any government or ratings body whatsoever to actually change this.
Well, I think when you look at government, particularly, you're dealing with such an old, fuddy-duddy group that I can't see it really happening. As an example, did you read the quote? Wired magazine had a list of quotes for the year, and one of them was from a United States senator who was talking about the internet as a series of tubes. And he's like, the internet is a series of tubes, and things go down the tubes, and pornography gets caught in the tubes and stuff. It was just this full-on rant about the internet and the tubes, and how sometimes the tubes aren't big enough and you need bigger tubes, and like just crazy nonsense.
Yep.
And the worst part of it is,
Yep.
I believe the guy's like the head of the internet subcommittee or something. Like he's actually a policy maker of internet policy in the United States.
Yep.
And the people that are in Australia that are in similar positions are similarly inept. Or not inept, but just not apt.
Yep. They're just not quite with it, up to date with the...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you look at the judiciary, you've got the same problem. People who are making laws regarding games are similarly not capable.
Is that in Australia or...?
Well, that's worldwide. I mean, whenever...
I guess the thing is, here in Australia, though, I mean, we've talked to OFLC and other... I mean, everyone you talk to, they basically just pass it off like, we can't change it, we can't do anything, that's not up to us. And the people it is up to, the actual... I think it's not the state government, it's the federal government.
State government. It's the state governors.
Is it?
No, it's the... it has to be passed by a majority of the state governors.
Right.
And then with the federal governor general, I think, having the final say.
Maybe we should actually...
Yeah, no, I think we should. I think we should start something.
We should actually start something. We should try and contact... I'm sure some side out there's tried to do this before, but maybe we should contact...
There is actually a movement.
Exactly who would be the person to talk to and find out why, or what's involved, or what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because, or just find out if someone else is doing that. There's another website that's already started doing that.
And help them.
Yeah, jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, let's find a bandwagon that's going in the right direction.
That sounds a lot easier.
Yeah, it's easier than doing something else.
That's the Australian game away.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Let's find someone who's already done most of the work and just jump on board.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up.
What wrap?
Wrap up the podcast.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just wondering. You're looking at me like you're expecting me to now wrap up the podcast. I don't know how I'm expected to do that.
That was a lead in there. That was let's wrap it up, and now you insert. Yes, you know.
I wasn't sure where you were going with it, but all right, now I see.
There's bouncing off that happens here. This is all it is. This is a podcast. This is you and me talking. That's it.
No,
I say something, then you say something.
Yeah, but sometimes you look at me like you expect me to say something.
I was expecting you to say something because I stopped talking.
Yeah, so I did, but I wasn't sure whether
you didn't.
were expecting
you just stood
me
there
to
looking
begin
at
the wrapping up process.
Like a deer in headlights.
A deer in headlights.
A kangaroo in headlights. Oh, funniest story. Mate,
it doesn't sound funny so far.
No, this is hilarious. I'll just quickly tell you this. There's a mate of mine over Christmas, a friend of Colin's, a magician, was telling me about he was playing on a golf course with a couple of guys, and it was out Whoop Whoop. It's where they live, and there were a couple of kangaroos on the golf course.
Yeah, Whoop Whoop.
Yeah, Whoop Whoop. You know, just up past.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, Beenleigh. And there are a couple of kangaroos on the course. And he was like, it's all good. I'll just, hit the golf ball over the top of the kangaroos onto the green. And he swung the golf club with the golf ball, and it didn't go over. It went straight along. And there was this one kangaroo that was eating food from the ground and hit it square in the head, square in the face. And he said it was the funniest thing you ever saw, because this kangaroo, it jolted up, and it shook its head, and then it looked at the kangaroo next to it and punched it in the face. I thought that would have been the funniest thing, just seeing this kangaroo get hit in the head and you bang.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the story from kangaroos there.
I see.
We're going off topic, and we should end this now.
Yes, we should.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for actually sticking with us for the entire year.
Yeah.
To all the regular loyal readers who have actually stuck with us through our ineptitude and laziness and general uselessness and not doing updates on time, not doing podcasts at all, not giving away competitions ever, not drawing things, not replying to things, not replying to people, not...
I'm starting to feel bad. Can you stop? Seriously, dude.
Not putting up reviews, not finishing things, all that kind of stuff. Thank you.
What we do, yeah.
Yeah, what we do. Thank you. Honestly, thank you for actually... sticking with us and continuing to come to the site and making it a fun place to actually keep coming to, especially the forums. Actually,
Yeah.
that's not us. That's completely you guys that actually read the site, and that's a really cool thing.
Yes, it is.
That was a bit sentimental there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna cry now.
I'm getting all misty.
Yes. Thank you guys for that, and thank you guys for sticking with us.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you next year.
We'll talk to you next year. Oh, that's always funny.
Thanks, everyone.
And as last thing that I've forgotten, I wanted to say hello to Devastator at the Ignite LAN. He wanted a bit of a hello. So to everyone at Ignite LAN, we're normally funnier than this, but hello anyway.
All right. You done now? That's good.
I'm done. Yep.
All right. Good. All right. Cheers.